Last week, the managing editor of the Williston Herald wrote an op-ed about North Dakota's governor race titled "No Reason for Wrigley Not to Run for Governor," obviously alluding to Drew's announcement of an extramarital affair. Well, the piece caused quite a stir. I'm going to share with you just a couple of snippets from this piece. You can understand why. And so here's a couple snippets from it. It said this: men cheat instinctively. Powerful men cheat more powerfully. They're just wired that way. He goes on to say any faithfully married North Dakota man who now supposedly can't bring himself to vote for such a knave needs to take a good look in the mirror and realize the only thing separating him from Drew Wrigley is that he found a reason the lieutenant governor apparently didn't find satisfactory. That's the only difference. To crucify a rising politician for adultery is like applauding a lion on the savannah for hunting the wildebeest and the antelope, but then being outraged when it kills a gazelle. Matt Hickman, the managing editor of the Williston Herald, joins us now live via Skype. Matt, thanks so much for joining us, sir. Obviously, you created quite a stir. What I want to know is sort of talk to us about, I don't really want to use the word inspiration because I completely disagree with what you wrote, but what said, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to write this, that men instinctively cheat?
Well, I'll start from the beginning. To be perfectly honest with you, I haven't been here real long, and most of my day is spent with the sort of blocking and tackling of making a community newspaper great. So there's not a lot of opportunities I find that I can jump in right away editorially. But I look at a story like this, and it's one of these sort of oldest time political stories, which I think keeps going back to a common narrative we see in American politics everywhere. You know, we're still so obsessed with sex and anything related to it, and anything scandalous that way, that we're willing to overlook any other sort of faults or compromised character in politics. But when it comes to sex, that becomes the big deal. That is the deal ender, which is what I was really trying to aim at with the piece, and may have gotten a little distracted in my own sort of psychological or evolutionary biology traipsings around the subject. But
I was going to say, I don't know if you've got to, I don't want to put you on a psych couch right now, but I mean, walk me through. Because look, I understand where you're coming from, but then to start to relate us to, a lion and animals, and this is just instinctively what we do you sincerely believe that?
I don't know whether I sincerely believe that. I mean, I think evolutionary biology says that men instinctively, are out to behave that way, and it's civilization that changes them, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I guess the point that I was going at is, before you judge Drew Wrigley, realize that. And I don't even know that much about Drew Wrigley. I certainly don't know him personally. But when you see somebody who keeps moving up the political ranks, realize we are feeding that beast, right? And it is.
But feeding what beast? Because I look at your piece, I go, you're feeding the beast of the, typical guy. Well, he's a guy. That's just what he's going to do. And I'm a proponent of stopping that conversation. I grew up with the idea of, hey, what makes you a man is athletic prowess and academic prowess and, sexual prowess. And I don't think that makes you a man. And so, the ability to go out and have sexual conquests, in my opinion, doesn't make you a man.
Well, it doesn't make you a good man, I don't think, but it makes you an original man. I mean, it is sort of just the evolutionary sort of nature of man, I suppose, is what that's going at. It's certainly not saying that that's what a good man does. I didn't want that to be intuited in the piece at all.
But you're asking us to say, hey, that shouldn't exclude him from running for governor. To me, I think governor is a pretty important position in our state.
Well, I would say, and again, I'm not real familiar with North Dakota politics just yet, but I would say the more concerning thing is not who's going to bed with who in a adulterous way, but who's getting in bed with what oil company, what energy companies, and what sort of donations they're taking there, and how that might affect things. And it seems like it should be much more of an issue than, the same old, well, he had an affair, he's low character. When there's so many issues of character when it comes to politicians that we seem to overlook or devalue, when compared to sexual liaisons.
Well, and I think we have done a poor job of sort of just going, hey, look, that's just the way it is. But I think you bring up a very valid point going, hey, there's a lot of important decisions right now for the state of North Dakota. Do we want somebody with a character that's going to go out and tell their why that, hey, I'm exclusive with you, you're the only one, you're not, lied to that person, the most important, supposedly the most important person in their life, and then go out and lead our state? Can we trust that person?
Well, I don't know about trust or not, but I know that and the other point of the hypocrisy that I was trying to allude to in the piece was, especially in the Republican Party right now, their front runner is Donald Trump. I don't think any of Donald Trump's wives would would consider him to be, honest that way in terms of fidelity. 4 years ago, Newt Gingrich at this time was the front runner, and he certainly was not much of a marrying man. And I made the point that probably in 2020, if Hillary wins, there's a good chance we'll see David Petraeus, who at this point could be a front runner. I mean, within the Republican Party, there is an inherent hypocrisy, and and the Democrats are the same way too, going all the way back to Bill Clinton and Gary Hart, if you want to. But this sort of like this need we have in American politics to just destroy politicians based on sex and whatever they do in their personal lives just seems like it's kind of a pox on our system, it seems.
Matt Hickman, I really appreciate doing this. Look forward to having you back on the show, okay?
Absolutely, anytime.
Thank you very much. Managing editor of the Williston Herald. Again, you can check out his piece online at willistonherald.com. Stay with us. In my final view, then I'm going to share with you kind of a personal story. For the new millennium, I head over to Europe. Was actually in St. Basilica for midnight mass of Christmas Eve. But coming up right after this, we're going to have our top trenders of the day. Stay with us. Much more coming up.